Today, I want to introduce you to forage and soil building superhero. I'm speaking about Sunn Hemp. It's a tropical plant primarily grown as a cover crop or green manure. It has increased dramatically in popularity over the last decade. Originally from India, it's easy to understand what makes it so popular among vegetable farmers in Kenya. Sunn Hemp possesses many soil-building traits, including high rates of biomass production. It's used as a cover crop. Sunn Hemp can improve soil properties, reduce soil erosion, conserve soil water, and recycle plant nutrients. But Sunn Hemp isn't just a soil builder. It also offers benefits as forage producer.
There's no weeding. You don't need to put fertilizer, you don't need to spray anything, it just grows on its own.
Our farmer as well as our expert has a lot to teach us about Sunn Hemp today.
Just love this crop. It has 16% protein. And a lot of farmers today actually grow it and bale it.
Welcome to yet another episode of Kilimo and Biashara, a show that brings you different types of farming methods and all emerging trends in the agribusiness world. Well, fertilizer prices have really gone up, and also there's shortage of this commodity. Well, at this time, farmers' main concern is soil fertility and how they will get good yield. So today we want to focus on a plant that can make your soil fertile. I'm speaking about Sunn Hemp. All farmers are concerned about getting good yield. You want to know more about this plant? Join me in the farm. Jen! Hi Linda! How are you? Very well, how are you? Good to see you! Welcome to Wanska Farm. Wow, thank you so much. On my way here, I was just wondering, what is Sunn Hemp? All your questions on Sunn Hemp are answered for as long as you're on this farm. Now, what is Sunn Hemp? Sunn Hemp is a leguminous plant. It's a cover crop. Jen, when you say cover crop, what is that? I still want to understand. Let me tell you a story. Some few seasons back, I had grown onions continuously on this farm, and I realized that I needed to give something back to the soil. I could see my last crop of onion was struggling, despite the manure, despite the fertilizer. And so I ventured out and did some research on how can I rejuvenate my soil. And in the course of that, I came across scientific papers that had been written on different experiments of different crops that farmers can use, and one of those crops was Sunn Hemp. And I was like, yes, that's what I've been looking for. And this is it. The Sunn Hemp you see here is a week old. This thing grows so fast. From seeding to germination is 3 days. So planting Sunn Hemp is specifically for soil fertility? For us here, we do continuous cropping of onions and other vegetable crops. So Sunn Hemp was to help us manage our soil fertility. So we grew it, and we are still growing it as a cover crop. So what happens once it's mature, and I'll show you that later, we plow it back to the soil. It is a very vegetative crop. It covers the entire soil. And so this being our fallow season, it protects our soil from sun and from being washed away by rain. Oh, so that's why it's called a cover crop. But now, how do you start planting it? Sunn Hemp is very easy to plant. Number one, you don't need fertilizer to plant it or special seed dressers. Just take the seed, it's a fairly small seed, and all you do is make trenches small trenches and drill the seed continuously. Remember, you want to achieve significant biomass, so drill as close as possible.
After drilling, what's the next step? You put fertilizer, because here I see you've installed drip irrigation. What do you do next?
Once you drill and put your water and it grows, that's all. There's nothing else, because as it grows and grows higher, it soothes away all the weeds. So there's no weeds. You don't need to put fertilizer, you don't need to spray anything. It just grows on its own.
So this is 1 week old and they really look so good.
This is a week old. Right there, we have another crop.
Let's see. This is the second week now.
Yes, this is the second week, 2 weeks old crop, Sunn Hemp. And you can see it's still also coming up pretty fast. And the same principle, look at it, clean, no weeds.
No fertilizer
No fertilizer, no chemical, nothing, just on its own.
So no fertilizer at all?
Nothing. All the entire cost is just the seed, which comes complete with the inoculum and the labor to drill.
Jen, you're so knowledgeable and you speak quite passionately about this. How did you stumble into agriculture? How did you begin?
I was brought up on a farm, and my own father encouraged me to remain in farming. I studied agriculture in primary school, in high school, up to the university. And now professionally, I work in the agriculture space.
But how did you start farming?
Sometime last year, I decided to go commercial. And so started off with a crop for onions. After 3 consecutive seasons of growing onions, I realized the third crop was not as beautiful, you know, size-wise, growth vigor, as the first 2 crops. And then I remembered something called soil fertility. And therefore, I went out to start looking for solutions. Because I was already manuring, I was already using fertilizer, but still my crop was already telling me this is not enough. So I went out and researched and came across the whole story around cover crops. But the challenge was one. I didn't know where to get the seeds. It's until I met an agronomist from UFarm who told me we also sell cover crops. And I told her, please give me a link. I need them like now. So it is through UFarm that I got introduced to Sunn Hemp.
Jen, sincerely speaking, I've never heard about cover crops. What are these cover crops? Also for farmers who've never heard about this particular thing and their importance, what is cover crop?
Cover crops are very simple crops that aid a farmer in very many ways. They may not have a direct economic, you know, the way that you are harvesting a crop to take to a market, but what they do enhances that marketing later for the subsequent crops that you grow. So basically what cover crops do, number one, protect the soil. The soil is a resource that farmers need to pay attention to. Why are they called cover crops? They grow very fast, and sooner than later, they cover the entire soil. Subsequently, also, cover crops like Sunn Hemp are leguminous. So guess what? Just like you have been told of beans, leguminous crops fix atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. So in my subsequent crops, I'm looking at using less fertilizer. And in this season of high cost of fertilizer, I mean this is a grand saving. And most importantly, this is a crop. So guess what? The biomass, right, added into the soil. So my water retention, you can see we use drip irrigation. You want water to be retained on the bed.
Jen, speaking of fertilizer, if you compare the cost of acquiring fertilizer as opposed to Sunn Hemp, how would you rate it?
When we started farming here, like 2 years ago, a bag of CAN was somewhere in the tune of 2,300. And when we need to use on the whole farm, we'd use 4 bags. Today, the same bag of fertilizer is in excess of 5,000 shillings. The price has more than doubled. Yet, farm produce prices in the market have not doubled. They've more or less remained the same. So how can I, as a farmer, remain profitable? I've got to find a way of reducing the costs of enhancing my soil fertility. Sunn Hemp is very reasonably priced because for this, a kilogram is just about 638, around there. And you can drill a significant portion. And the nitrogen that I get fixed into this soil, the biomass is, you can't compare. I have much more benefit using Sunn Hemp than fertilizer.
And how much did it cost you to acquire Sunn Hemp seedlings or seeds?
Actually, Linda, let me tell you something. Sunn Hemp is so cheap. As you can see around my farm, you see manure there. That manure, a 20-ton truck gets here with 40,000. Yet, Sunn Hemp, for 1 acre, I only need about 10,000 for the seed and inoculum included.
Now, if you compare by the time you're planting your crops without Sunn Hemp and this moment when you have Sunn Hemp, how is it? How is your production? Has it improved?
I probably would have stopped farming because the cost of fertilizer is not just attainable. I mean, where do you get double the price for your onions, double the price for capsicum? Nowhere. And so this is farming as a business.
Jen, so how long will you have this Sunn Hemp in your farm before you harvest or before you incorporate it in the soil?
Once you seed Sunn Hemp, it is ready for harvesting and incorporation into the soil within 2 months.
Now, after you've incorporated Sunn Hemp into the soil, how soon will you plant the next crop?
Once we incorporate the Sunn Hemp into the soil, remember we cut it into small bits so we're able to plow it back into the soil. We're able to plant it within 10 days. And this is one of the other greatest benefits for Sunn Hemp.
Jen, now after embracing Sunn Hemp, would you say you've gotten good yields in your farm, or is it a profitable venture?
Extremely, extremely profitable because we've seen it in the harvest of our subsequent crops. Right now, I'm eager to plant my next crop of onion, and as you can see, we have the nursery already ready on the farm because I know the yields after this Sunn Hemp will be great.
Now, Jen, I would like to see the other side of the farm.
Linda, we have an expert on Sunn Hemp on the farm. He will give you the technical details of the crop and a lot more information. In the meantime, I'll go and supervise the cutting of the Sunn Hemp. That is going on. We shall meet on that side of the farm.
Well, picture this. At a time when fertilizer prices have really skyrocketed, I think Sunn Hemp is the way to go. This is how it looks. These are Sunn Hemp seeds. You just drill it to the soil and voila, you're ready. Your soil will be fertile in the next 2 months. After 10 days, in 2 months, you put your crop. So today we have an expert, Omri from UFAM, who's going to take us through all the nitty-gritties that you need to know about this particular Sunn Hemp. So let's go meet Omri. Omri!
Hey,
hello!
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I see there's a beautiful plant there. How is it doing?
Yes, this crop is about 7 weeks old, and we're looking at the flowering to determine when we're going to chop it up. Usually we recommend farmers to chop up the crop when they have 30% flowering.
Jen explained to me earlier on what Sunn Hemp really is, but from an expert point of view, what is Sunn Hemp?
Okay, Sunn Hemp is quite an amazing plant. As Jane explained, the benefits for the farmer, but there are a lot more on the list. When you incorporate Sunn Hemp to the soil, you're also gaining some other attributes which are extremely important for farmers.
So what are those attributes?
For example, Sunn Hemp knows how to depress nematodes, at least for a long duration. Sunn Hemp solves the problem of fusarium, And when you think about farmers who want to specialize and want to do monoculture, Sunn Hemp as a crop gives them that opportunity. So a farmer who wants to specialize, for example, in watermelon, can do Sunn Hemp in their rotation and do continuously watermelon without having an issue of fusarium.
Ah, so it can actually be a rotational crop.
As well, yes. Apart from that, what Jane mentioned is the 4.5 to 5 tons of green manure per acre, which is giving the soil that fertility. It also knows how to awaken the biology in the soil. So we start to have activity in the soil starts to mend itself. And that's why Jane mentioned the beauty of the second crop after Sunn Hemp, why it looks so vigorous and so nice.
So this is 7 weeks old. How far is it before you harvest?
This is about a week to harvest because we already see the first flowering. We will count about 7 to 8 days. And then if we get around 30% flowering in the field, we will just chop it off.
So aside from here, do we have a place or a section where we can harvest or ready for harvest?
Yes, let me take you to the other field and we can observe it.
Oh, we go see. Okay. The farm is really clean, Omri.
Yes, very clean.
It is super clean. So this side has been harvested already.
Yes, this side is ready for incorporation into the soil, as you can see.
What are the benefits, aside from soil fertility, what are the main benefits of Sunn Hemp?
Sunn Hemp basically is that kind of crop which gives you a wide range of solutions. Sunn Hemp is a very strong plant, very big, and has a huge mass. Very interesting, this is a fodder crop also. Goats, sheep just love this crop. It has 16% protein. And a lot of farmers today actually grow it and bale it. So it's also one of the attributes that you can use Sunn Hemp to earn some money. So not every season you actually have to incorporate into the soil. You can do that one season, and then the second season you can still use the inoculation and nitrogen, but you can chop it up and bale it and sell bales.
Speaking of fodder, what are the varieties available, especially for feeding cattle, livestock, and also all other animals?
There are varieties in the market which you mentioned, which are not suitable for animal. Sunn Hemp Crotellaria, what we bring, is very suitable for animals to feed on. So I stress farmers to be very careful about what they buy. They need to buy the Sunn Hemp Crotellaria from U-Farm, because this one you can really feed the animals.
So between the varieties, how do you note the difference, and how can a farmer identify the good variety?
Usually it's supposed to be mentioned, the type, on the packing. Also the Crotellaria, which is not for animal feed, is a much shorter plant, less biomass. And basically we recommend to do the thorough check before you buy the seeds.
Omri, just looking at the one you're holding, it's right there, I can't see any pest or diseases. Is it susceptible to pest and diseases?
No, actually Sunn Hemp does not require any further investment from the farmer's side apart from the seed buying and the inoculant. After that we need 2 or 3 irrigations, and this is what we get.
So you actually just need money for seeds alone?
Exactly.
But what are the benefits?
The green manure that we incorporate into the soil basically also has benefit the same as compost. So it improves the structure of the soil. It helps to bring back the biology. The biology starts to work for you. And you know, biology is extremely important in the soil.
I heard you say that U-Farm, you do a lot of things in regards to agriculture, but how did you land into specifically Sunn Hemp?
I think that we started to understand that farmers have a real serious problem of soil fertility. We've been talking about that for the last decade, that soils in Kenya are being depleted, over-fertilized, soil fertility is going down. And many farmers came up to us and said, look, we need a solution. We need somehow to break the cycle. And that's where we came up with Sunn Hemp as a relatively cheap and a fast, quick solution that brings with it many, many, many benefits.
So you actually don't need fertilizer?
I don't say we don't need fertilizer, but definitely one of the targets of bringing in Sunn Hemp is to reduce the cost of fertilizer. Yeah, Sunn Hemp cannot bring all the nutrients to the plant. So it's one of the solutions. We're working on others.
Omri, thank you so much. That has been quite
welcome.
insightful. Let me meet Jen on the other side who's harvesting. Okay, see you. Bye-bye. Jen,
Yes,
I'm
Linda.
back again.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. So
Yes.
harvesting is ongoing.
Harvesting is ongoing. So let me first demonstrate, then I'll give you a slasher.
Okay.
You slash it by stage
Uh-huh.
so that you're cutting smaller pieces all the way down.
Yes.
All the way down, starting from the
From
top.
up.
The top, halfway through, all the way down. So you break it down so that aids in its breaking down. Here is your slasher. You can begin on this side.
There's nothing like a visitor on the first day, Jen.
No, 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 no visitors on the farm. Only
let-
workers. So
let me
from the
try.
top,
From the
yes,
top here.
start from the top,
Uh-huh. Then the middle.
then the
Then
middle, then all the way down, all the way down.
So you harvest it in 4 stages.
Yeah, 4 stages, bit by bit, slowly, from the top, halfway through, another bit, another. Don't worry, for as long as it's broken, it shall disintegrate
Yeah.
that way. Oh, you're doing it so well.
I've understood the assignment.
Yes, you've understood the assignment. I can see you cannot sleep hungry.
I cannot.
You can- Yes, that's how you cut it. And then now, once you're done,
Yeah.
we incorporate it into the soil.
Yeah.
And it's preferably that we incorporate it into the soil immediately.
Ah.
Maybe we can now demonstrate the soil incorporation.
Okay.
Now-
So we move to
Let's move
incorporating
to the
it.
other side.
Okay.
Bring your slasher along and incorporate. Let's keep our pangas and slashers.
Ah, kazi ya slasher imesha.
I'll
This
show
is
you
done.
how to incorporate it.
Okay. So you incorporate immediately.
You incorporate immediately so that you lock in the moisture. Remember, this is a green manuring
Okay.
concept. So let me demonstrate with my djembe.
Yeah.
The djembe is the best because then you are able to,
The fork.
yes,
You
the
use
fork
the-
djembe. You need to lift the soil and cover this.
Ah,
Matter.
the upper bit.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
There is your djembe.
Let me try that. So it's this.
Yeah, in, dig it in, pull in the soil, cover the top, cover the Sunn Hemp.
Ah, mine has a lot of Sunn Hemp
Yes, you cover it.
like that.
Yes.
Ah, the soil is quite soft already.
Yes, because the Sunn Hemp has a taproot and that goes deep in, loosens the soil,
Yeah.
fixes the nitrogen and makes your soil very good.
And it is very easy.
Yes, just like this. This is a way to also prepare the land for planting.
Yeah.
So by the time we plant in 10 days,
Yeah.
this will be all well decomposed. Then, I mean, the benefits are many.
Yeah, the benefits are so many. Jen, you're really doing a very good job. Wow. By now, I'm so sure you have been enlightened by Jen. Picture this. With an acre, you will need close to roughly 40,000 when you're using fertilizer. But as compared to Sunn Hemp, you will need 10,000 shillings per acre. That's a whooping 30,000 shillings difference you can save, or you can invest in another crop. Well, I think today I've given you a solution to the high cost of fertilizer or the shortage of fertilizer. You might as well try this Sunn Hemp. So, thank you so much for being part of the show, and next time we'll bring you another exciting show. See you on Friday, same time.